Hey guys, so right now I'm trying to crack a mystery animal, actually a mystery insect that my mom saw this morning on the deck on our front deck, but she said it was the size of a June bug. She said it did it because I had given her examples of other insects, maybe like a butterfly or a small moth, but she denied those. She denied the bumblebee, the hornet, different kinds of hornets and yellow jackets in Maine. But I did get a good explanation from her what it could be. It sounds like she's really sticking with a bug that looks like a June beetle, a June. So a little known fact about June bugs are they are beetles, but they eat flowers, meaning that I know a lot of people who grow flowers and other plants. I mean, June bugs are not good for the flowers whatsoever. They will eat them, and they'll destroy them. I mean, they're not good to have in your garden. So this is, for me, this is a bit of a concerning thing because when I think of beetles, there's a lot of species of beetles that chew through wood as they would chew through something like flowers. So we're going to type in yellow beetles in Maine. So she could have seen there is a Colorado potato beetle, which are pests. But there is a few common agriculture or garden pests in Maine. In Maine, encountering yellow beetle usually point so in Maine, encountering a yellow beetle usually points to a few common agriculture or garden pests. It depends on the exact marking, shape, and host plant. So this could be so in Maine, the size of June bug. Size of June bug. Okay, we found it. So I found the insect that she did see. So it's called the Goldsmith beetle. Catalpa langira. These are shiny pale yellow or yellowish brown scarab beetles that are roughly the same size and shape as typical brown June bugs, about an inch. They are native to the Northeast and active in early summer. So yeah, that would make sense. But I want to know if these beetles are pests. What is it? The Goldsmith beetle. They are beautiful, but they are mistaken for what is it? Gold. Goldsmith beetle. Okay, so some okay. So yeah, that answers our question. So they are not pests at all. They feed on leaves on off trees like willow, poplar, and oak trees, which we've got a crap ton of oak trees in the woods at our house. They are generally considered a harmless curiosity, though its larvae grubs feed on roots and can damage lawns in large numbers. Adults emerge in spring and are attracted to lights. But the adults, so impact on plants are primarily a curiosity. They feed on leaves, but don't typically cause significant harm, meaning the trees and wood and stuff like that. But the larvae, the baby Goldsmith beetles, can damage lawns and gardens by feeding on roots, potentially stressing or killing plants in large infestations. So larvae form, yes, they do impact plants, but when they're adults, they typically are very curious. But they feed on leaves, typically on oak trees, but they don't typically cause significant harm to the tree itself. But they're a metallic yellow scarab beetle, famous for their shimmering golden hue. Native to North America, they spend their days hiding in woodland trees, their nights feeding on foliage, and their larval stages breaking down rotting wood and aerating the soil. But they emerge in late spring and early summer. Um, Adults spend the night feeding on the leaves of deciduous trees like willow, poplar, oak, and maple. While they may pull leaves from branches, they rarely cause significant ecological damage to healthy forests. But what they do is they use the tiny hooks on their feet to pull leaves together and create an improvised shelter. At night, they use pheromones and sounds to attract mates. But they serve as a food source for insectivores, arboreal birds. So we've got two barn swallow in our old shed. So I would definitely say a barn swallow. I mean, I feel like these insects are probably gone. But once I show my mom this, she's definitely gonna say that this is the one. This is the bug. This is the beetle. And she described the bug being an inch long and that it looked like a beetle. But anyways, guys, so this evening, as I said, my plans are is that we're gonna try out that new game. Well, it's not a new game, it's been out for a long time, but it's called Control. It's about a woman who runs like a special operation or something like that. She goes around like these different like semi prismatic areas, worlds, or whatever you want to call them, and kills enemies. There's bosses. And she also has telekinesis powers. She can control enemies. She can throw with, she's like Professor Xavier from the X-Men or like Jean Grey, along with the handgun she has that is a built all in one built-in shotgun, semi-auto pistol, revolver, but it's like all in one. It's like a multi-tool. And then we'll do some Minecraft stuff. I do want to rescue those two villagers. Those are the two that we're missing, because one of them because I can't believe we ran right past him, because the blacksmith, I'm surprised we didn't see him, because you actually are able to free him. He's right towards the end of the game when you beat like when you're literally at the end of the redstone caves. But yeah. And just so you guys know, a quick reminder as well is that, let's see, tomorrow is Monday. So Tuesday, we will be getting the new Peru map. People are already getting early access to the map, but it comes out worldwide on Tuesday. I'm very excited. Actually, I'm saving. I'm gonna get a PlayStation card. More probably, I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna go out tomorrow and do anything, but Tuesday is the official release day of that map. I'm very excited because all the animals on that map are all exclusive to that one map, meaning you can't find them in all the other maps in Hunter Call of the Wild. So I'm very excited. I mean, and the fact that this is in Peru, and the fact, I mean, there's even a documentary where it's on YouTube, but Liam and I actually subscribe to this guy, Liam, the staff at program, but he talks about the basically how the Andes Mountains and the Amazon rainforest actually connect. Like, yes, they're two different areas. One of them is like a big mountain range, and the other is like a big jungle, but they actually link together, and there's a way they link together. It's very cool how this guy talks about it. But it is true that the Andes Mountains and the Amazon rainforest connect. There's like a passageway of getting between the two areas. But yeah, I've even heard too that, we might even be getting a cryptid in this reserve, in this map. So I'm looking forward to that. Many of the cryptids I have heard of, or that were rumored, or people they were basically looking up cryptids from South America, in that belonging in that region, that the natives have run into. Um, but I feel like this is gonna be more of like a cryptid through the spirit, because the thing is, many people know or maybe do or don't know about jaguars is jaguars are not just an animal in Peru, but they are a symbol in spirit. And actually they were tamed among the natives for protection and defending against other tribes. So the jaguars served as protectors of the rainforest. And the part of the unexplained goes is that these jaguars still embed power and spiritual guidance to the natives and the locals. So this, I feel like the jaguar thing is definitely more accurate than having something else. I mean, some of the cryptids that were listed, a couple of them looked like something out of Stranger Things. The TV show. Um, One of them actually looked like a horror like creature from a movie, and I'm like, no, I feel like that would ruin the game. That would, if they wanted to follow the roots with animals, the jaguar thing definitely makes more sense. I think some of those cryptids, like the South American Sasquatch, um, or South American Bigfoot, would have been a cool idea. And there was also talks of like so it's actually a serpent, but it's a guardian serpent of the Amazon River. But that would have been another good one, is to like see that big serpent like rise out of the water. I feel like to hunt it though, you'd have to have some sort of like, you wouldn't be able to use any of like those guns they give you in the game. I mean, maybe. I mean, I will say something like a big giant serpent coming out of the water. Just, I feel like some of those guns, I mean, those are guns based off of reality, not fiction. So that's something to consider as well. I mean, I'm not saying an overpowered rifle couldn't hurt something like that, but we don't know what this creature actually could possess either. Some sort of ancient power, because a lot of these creatures that were listed as being the cryptid had some sort of abilities, hidden abilities. So more of like, other than the the I feel like some sort of cryptic big cat would definitely fit the bill more so on this reserve than any other thing, any other cryptid. Because I know we've had in the game before. So there was what was it? It wasn't really a cryptid hunt, it was a native species. But they said they made it sound like you were hunting for a cryptic animal, that it was a hidden animal, but it was what is it, a extinct species of jackal that inhabited the Africa map. And then the other one is actually in Leighton Lake, I believe. It's called the were coyote. But it was a coyote. It's all it is a coyote with that looked very odd. Almost like I mean, it looked like it just kind of had like it had like mange, like not. And then what was it in the Russia, the Siberia map? The last mission is hunting that albino, it, actually that man-eating bear that was killing wolves, that killed a lot of lynx. But that was and of course what we had encountered with the tigers, like we're still working on that. But I'm like, if we're dealing with a man-eating tiger, or because I feel like the tiger we're hunting now is definitely is a concern to the locals and villagers. As I said, I don't like hunting big cats, especially if they're endangered. Like for me, that is really pushing lions. I will say if it's a species of big cat that isn't facing being endangered, being threatened, then yeah. African lions, I will say I'll do that, but like tigers, I'm very careful. I want to be careful with, because only if the animal is a threat and it's killing people, then yes, that animal needs to be stopped, and the continuous pattern. But we're not at all at fault. Like we shouldn't all victimize ourselves into why animals come in villages and kill people. Like we make that happen for the animals, meaning that we do that to the animals, and the animals seek revenge in what we do as people. It's like when we conceal fate to animals, animals will conceal fate to us. And that is the truth. I mean, if we destroy their food source or their ability to hunt, their skill to hunt, that's our fate. And if we get attacked by that animal, we're going to get attacked by that animal. But the thing is, I've heard there's this one story where, and it's an unbelievable story, but it tells about I think they were poachers, but um so the poachers were hunting that. I don't know how the story went. If they were tracking a tiger, they were tracking this big Siberian tiger. Let me see if I can find the story, but it's very interesting. So yeah, the armored tiger. So actually, there's two species of tiger, but I'm pretty sure. Siberian tiger man-eaters are exceedingly rare, with unprovoked attacks occurring perhaps once every 4 years. However, the armored tiger is a massive apex predator, and when they do turn to humans, it's usually due to what we do to them, as I was mentioning: poaching injuries, starvation, or resource defense. The encounters are highly lethal. But it says, for a deep dive into the most famous historical case of a rogue Siberian tiger, which actually inspired John Vallant's best-selling book, The Tiger. Check this video out. But it says Siberian tiger. Actually, it says low frequency. On average, Siberian tigers historically kill about one person a year across their Russian range. So fatal attacks don't occur all that often, only once a year. Yeah, it says well, about one person a year across their primary causes are most fatal encounters happen when humans startle a tiger, approach a fresh kill, or botch a poaching or capturing attempt. In Russia, you never want to get close to an animal that is feeding, or if you see it, I mean, sometimes the animals on the other side of that kill, eating a boar or a deer, and that tiger could be on the other side eating, and you have no freaking idea. And you're on the other side looking at this animal, and that animal happens to peer, or you startle the tiger. But know your cats, know the way they behave, know the way that if you're in front of a kill, you may not be the one there first. Because that tiger, if it's startled, boom, it's gonna. And the fact that a lot of these attacks are. Because the thing is, we determine as people when we hurt animals the the fate of the animal, right? But animals have that full on behavior as we do, that when they suffer fate from us, they can do the same back. If we keep doing it and we keep doing it in the same patterns, maybe using different methods but within the same pattern, those animals are going to quickly adapt to those things. But it says the vengeance phenomenon. Several notorious cases involve a poacher. So, again, this is really important to note that a poacher wounding a tiger can active, which then. So, actually, if a poacher wounds a tiger, doesn't kill it, that tiger is going to actively stalk and trail the hunter. The hunter becomes the hunted. Because that's the thing, we cannot determine an animal's fate. That animal could be tailing us, wounded, tailing us right back home. Researchers are divided on whether this is calculated revenge or the tiger simply trailing a bleeding, threatening human. Now, I will say again, I have heard. I don't know how rare these sort of events could happen, but if it's like a female tiger that has a cub, then yeah. Or if the mother is shot, the poachers find her and her cub, and she's shot and wounded, she's gonna go after that poacher, or she'll run off with her cub. But as a mother, as a parent's duty, she's gonna do everything it takes. But that's the thing, is that the cub is going to adapt to what he learned. Animals adapt to their parents like we do, of how to react, how to behave towards things, how to act towards things that are dangerous. We put animals, and we're mammals ourselves, but we put animals in these conflicts. Because when you think that you've killed and probably fatally killed a tiger, so the story about Yuri in Rush, this is a tiger that actually tracked Yuri from the tiger was wounded. Yuri's going back to his cabin. The tiger's there waiting for him at his cabin. You don't know when animals are going to tail you because they don't have walkie-talkies. They don't have built-in trackers. Unfortunately, people are the ones that embed trackers into animals to help either monitor them. But again, we have that equipment. Animals can track by instinct and by hurt, being wounded. They're going to finish the job. But the historical spikes So there was one in 1867. A notorious outbreak on the Tisamukaha River resulted in 21 fatalities, but these anomalies are extremely rare. But this is actually the. I'll read you guys this story. Are you going to Flop Tom? Yeah. Huh? Yeah, on Tuesday. Not tomorrow? On Tuesday? Tomorrow? Okay. She's got another one Tuesday also. Okay. Let's go see Holland. So what's the plan you have tomorrow with you? You're going down here before the conference. But there's only one man that can sing, that can actually really sing of how to fight to survive as a tiger, and that's me. But I want to read you guys this story. Um, but this is the story they're talking about Markov, and he had a, I don't know if it was his brother, but he also, there was also another guy in this story named Yuri. Um, but it talks about John Vallant's book. The Tiger is part natural history, part Russian history, and part thriller. It tells a gripping and gory story of what it's like to stalk and be stalked by the largest species of cat still walking the earth. The most biodiverse region in all of Russia lies on a chunk of land sandwiched between China and the Pacific Ocean. There in Russia's far east, subarctic animals such as caribou and wolves mingle with tigers. and other species of the subtropics, it was very nearly a perfect habitat for the tigers until humans showed up. The tigers that populate this region are commonly referred to as Siberian tigers, but there are more accurately known as the armored tiger. Imagine a creature that has the agility and appetite of the cat and the mass of an industrial refrigerator. Valance tells NPR's Linda Wertheimer the armored tiger can weigh over 500 pounds and can be more than 10 feet long nose to tail. These majestic tigers can jump as far as 25 feet. Vertically, they can jump over a basketball hoop. Valent cites a famous tiger biologist who, when asked how high a tiger can jump, responded as high as it needs to. At the center of the story is Vladimir Markov, a poacher who met a grisly end in the winter of 1997 after he shot and wounded a tiger and then stole part of the tiger's kill. The injured tiger hunted Markov down in a way that appears to be chillingly premeditated. The tiger stalked out Markov's cabin, systematically destroyed anything that had Markov's scent on it, and then waited by the front door for Markov to come home. This wasn't an impulsive response. Valent says the tiger was able to hold this idea over a period of time. The animal waited for 12 to 48 hours before attacking. When Markov finally appeared, the tiger killed him, dragged him into the bush, and ate him. The eating may have been secondary, Valent explains. I think he killed him because he had a bone to pick. The other central character in the tiger is, as I said, Yuri Trush, the head of the local squad of an anti-poaching unit known as Expedition Tiger, an organization created by the Russian government to combat the black market trafficking of tigers and tiger parts. Trush was a guy well suited to work in tiger country, Valent says, physically imposing and a skilled fighter. Trush was a larger-than-life figure and a real warrior. For most of his time with Expedition Tiger, Trush's job involved setting up sting operations and catching poachers. But Markov's death, which is followed later by the death of a second man, meant that Trush ended up having to hunt the same animal he had worked to protect. Trush needed to anticipate what the tiger's next move would be and then get there before the tiger did. Valent explains Trush was charged not just with protecting tigers, but now with saving human lives. Valent's retelling is a life and death moment by moment chase, and at times it can be hard to remember whether you're rooting for the tiger or the humans. The tiger is just trying to be a tiger, Valent says. What's so fascinating to me about that region is that there are human beings and tigers hunting for the same prey in the same territory, and they don't have conflicts. But if you make the mistake of attacking a tiger, you will regret it, he says. Markov certainly learned that the hard way. So you never steal or attack a tiger, wound a tiger. The tiger's response was logical and understandable, but in the case of the revenge it exact on Markov, it was anything but typical. In writing the book, Valent interviewed people of all ages from families who had lived in the Russian Far East for generations. In living memory, there was no record of an incident like this, of a tiger hunting a human being, he says. This was a highly unusual circumstance, completely driven by human behavior. If the tiger hadn't been shot, there would be no story. But I will say that it is incredibly dangerous. I mean, for me, I can feel like I can be with those that know who I am, being supported around. Like, I feel like a human in some ways, and I feel like a tiger in others. Because I mean, I'm Tom McNally, but people want me. Like, I don't like it. I mean, really, can't people be themselves? And can't people that over need somebody's help just kind of learn and research how they can do that? I don't mind helping people because I'm a human being, but sometimes I live like a tiger, meaning that I want to go out and do stuff, and I want to have freedom. And survival is freedom. Wanting to go outside and hunt is freedom, as long as you're not provoking and poaching a tiger. I mean, that's like basically going out and hurting somebody, wounding somebody, and that person knows, is putting, tails on you of where you live. They're right there waiting. I mean, they said this tiger was didn't attack him, but was waiting 12 to 48 hours already at his house, but waited for the right opportunity to kill this guy. That is not just an animal, that's one of the most intelligent animals that and we often state that animals don't have behaviors, or I guess not behavior, but like, yes, animals can't speak with communication, but they do these things where it's like they're humans in a way we just can't see, a lot of us fail to see. Because Yuri was an anti-poaching guy, and then Markov was a poacher, and this tiger had a bone to pick with Markov because poachers are a big element of killing tigers, selling their skins and their valuables at the black market. Now I feel like if Markov didn't shoot and wound that damn animal, there would be no conflict. Yuri wouldn't have to be, I would say, if he already was an anti-poacher before that, I feel like, but I think it's one of the most influential stories, and I want to get my hands on that book at some point. I think it'd be a good read. I think Kathleen would really enjoy it, because it involves cats, and I know she would not refuse to something that is nonfiction, and that's about cats. So that I do know. But I know her and I are scheduled to read the Beatles book when she comes back from Ireland. But that might be. And I also told her there's a lot of books I told her about. I'm probably going to have to write down a whole list. Because I did also tell her that we could maybe start. Because I know I told her like we could do like the full Harry Potter book series, but those books. So I think she said the first four books aren't as long as the other ones. Like, I think she said it was one through four were the ones that were not, well, still long but not as many pages. Um, but I think she would really want to read this one about that tiger, and about really how tiger conflict happens, and us humans, like it's like we know better to if we know better and we want to stay out of conflict. I mean, tigers were willing to thrive on a land with us being on the land. I feel like as long as we didn't screw with them, they wouldn't screw with us. And I get it. Poachers will poach animals only for the valuable goods. They do it for the goods. That's it. They do it for what the animal carries, not for the meat, not. But I mean, an animal that shares habitat with caribou, with wolves, it's quite impressive. And this is like between, it said like China and like, I really, this is a story, I mean, and I did hear about this before I did a live on this, but it's really important to note that there's a lot of animals we can share the same area, the same ground with. We just have to balance it. We have to balance the ways of life of human culture, and animals have to do it with their culture. They have to do it within through instinct. And because if we're starting war with animals if we don't follow those rules, and it's not fair to them. What we do to them, they can do to us, and they're going to absorb what people do. They're going to observe it, like this tiger waiting 12 to 48 hours, which is not just one day. That's 2 days, maybe three. I don't know. But actually, no, that's more. That's 2.5 days that this cat was waiting for this guy to come back to his cabin. Actually, between 12 and, so we don't actually know how long this guy didn't come back to. I mean, that tiger was there all that time waiting, but the tiger definitely did not strike right away. Only, did it when the timing was right. But when you hurt an animal like this tiger, that tiger is going to follow you. We can't conceal fate on tigers, but we never overestimate tigers either, of what they can do to us, because it's primal. And as I said, it's incredibly, it it's instinct that develops, and that levels them up every single day. We just really have to learn more of how to live amongst them. Not, again,